Brooklyn's historic The Black Lady Theater is now taking bookings. Host your next birthday party, concert, networking event, baby or bridal shower, wedding, art show, gala, corporate event, live stage play, audition, and so much more. At the one and only The Black Lady Theater. Mention code GODCAST for 15% off your rental fee. Code good for the first time customers only. Valid for a limited time. Call 718-771-0900 to book your event today.
Hey, today is Sunday, July 14th. Make it today's math.
Knowledge, culture, freedom, all being born in power, refinement.
That's right. When you know your culture, frees your dome and allows you to exercise your power, which refines all coming content. Peace. Welcome back to the Yanadameen Godcast. I'm Lord Jamar.
I'm Digga.
And we got guest host extraordinaire
host,
in
Godfrey
the motherfucking house. Godfrey in the house. What's good?
What?
Clap it up for
What?
Godfrey yet again.
Give us the claps, son. Don't give us the claps.
Now,
I messed that one up.
last week, your boy had to take a little vacation. Ended up going to Cancun with the family. Celebrate a couple of anniversaries.
Right on.
Pardon me. And Digga held it down
Yeah, baby.
by her lonesome.
Yeah.
Clap it up for Digga.
I can't even front. I was nervous. Like, what am I gonna talk about by myself for a whole hour? So I started calling up the homies. Like, yo, and I had 2 guests scheduled, but the second one didn't show up.
Aww.
So yeah, he was gonna get here too late. He was gonna get here too late. So then I had to do the segment by myself, and I'm like, all right, we just gonna make this a quick little intro, and I ended up like yakking for like 15 minutes. So I was like, hey,
There you go.
See, if I had some talking points, like if I was prepared to do a solo segment, I could have went on for a minute, but that was fun.
In the future,
you should go way more often.
In the future, I'm sure you'll get a chance. We'll each get a chance, I'm sure, because you know we're still very active in different parts of our lives,
Right.
and you know. You might be pulled off for a show somewhere. I might be pulled off for a show,
Word.
but the show must go on.
That's right.
So we're gonna keep it held down, and now.
And thank you guys for all the positive, feedback too.
And first of all, you brought in an awesome guest with Large Professor. I'm almost a little upset that I wasn't
Large
here
Pro.
because
That's your homie.
that's my homie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we used to hang out for real back in the days.
Right.
I was there to see a young Nas just, coming in of age and finding himself and his sound and all that.
Source.
I was there for some of those Eric B. and Rakim sessions when he's in there. I'm like, wow, you producing for Rakim? Like what? Like that shit was crazy.
Yeah.
Also, I would like to give the Yanadameen staff a round of applause for not spilling the beans.
Yeah.
I went to all of them. I was like, you better not say nothing to Jamar. I wanted him to be surprised.
Yes, so this one wants to act like I'm not telling you who the damn guest is. I'm like, how the fuck you not gonna tell me who the guest on my own show?
He calling everybody up.
If we don't forget, I motherfucking put this me. So I'm like, wait a minute. So I'm like, yeah, you're gonna keep it a secret. So I called while I was at the airport. I was like, Sharice, you know, who was the guest? And now something told me I should have tricked her. Okay, and been like, act like I already knew, and just be like, yeah, so the guest came, right? Everything fine, you know, and see if she'd be like, oh yeah, Large Professor is here, you know. That's how I should have played it. But I was like, yo, who was the guest today? Like, you know, Rah Digga trying to, you know, be all secretive and shit, you know. So she was like, well, then I guess it's gonna have to be a secret. I'm like, what? I said, oh, wow, that's how we gonna play it? All right, I'm gonna get it from one of my niggas. It's all good. You know what I mean? Hit my man Jay Netta up. Thought he was, you know what I mean? Thought he was a team player.
Nope.
Niggas being all cryptic and I told it, you know, that's Johnny Fastlane.
Nothing.
You know.
Nothing.
I'm like, yo, what is this oath done in blood? Like, what the fuck? Like, why is this so important that y'all hold this woman's secret? I didn't even want to stress, you know, Sid, because, you know, I just don't want to stress you. I don't want to stress him. You know what I mean? So I didn't even call you. You're lucky. And I didn't hit the Kenya. Shout out to the Kenya. She's not here today. But, you know, I didn't want to harass, you know. She might start crying or something under my, you know, because
trying to shake my girl down.
Yeah, I didn't even want to do that to her with my aura.
I was nervous because when the second guest that ultimately
who's another friend of mine
would have been too late. I was scared that he was gonna call you like, because I didn't tell him that you weren't here.
Right.
I was scared that he was gonna call like, Lord Jay, I'm in traffic, but I'm on my way. Like I thought he was gonna like blow up the spot, but.
Like, you're on your way where? To the Godcast.
Y'all did it well. Thank
you.
The
Godcast.
Thank y'all so much.
But see, you know what? Honestly, I could have got it out of them. But you know what? I decided.
Why not be surprised?
Huh? Yes. I said, you know what? I'm gonna go with it. She wants to surprise me so bad. Yeah. I'm gonna just go with it. I ain't even gonna press the shit. Yeah. I'm gonna just leave well enough alone. But I could have gotten it out of you, motherfucker. Trust you me, I could have done it. But I said, you know what, I'm going to let it go. Yeah. But I did end up finding out who the other guest was.
Yeah.
I did find that out inadvertently.
Had to give him something.
Yeah, it was, you know. But anyway, you did a great job. Thank you. I appreciate you.
I tried it with the math. I apologize.
And then you went on ahead and booked this week's guest too.
Yeah.
Wow.
So goddamn, Rah Digga just
killing it right now.
Shit right now.
Oh,
God damn.
handling that business.
And this week's guest is a motherfucker.
Word.
So before we move on, before we talk to our guest host of the hour, if you'd like to donate to the show, go to cash.me/$, you know what I mean, patreon.com/you know what I mean, YouKnowWhatI_support, or bounty.com/you know what I mean. We appreciate you. We out here striving to do for self. I guarantee you the next time you see us, we're going to have even more lag mics and sound even better. And no matter how many motherfucking guests we have up this motherfucker.
Right.
And yeah, and that's all because of people that donate to the show and want to see us do for self and keep doing for self. That being said, Godfrey.
Yes.
My guy.
How are you?
We are always happy to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
This is my fucking
this
guy.
Is my
right
fucking
here.
guy right here. You nigga. Hey, get the fuck up.
So usually, right? Usually when you're here, you kind of, damn, I want to come, but
I got a mic.
This is my Russian Godfrey voice. Yeah, I want to come, but I gotta get to my show afterwards.
I have to, bro.
Can we get this done real fast? Maybe I can do like 1 or 2 segments.
And he goes, whatever, dude. Come through. Fuck.
And that's his voice for me. Okay. So anyway, so this time, he hits me up And
yeah.
And he's like, shit, I want to come through. You know, hey, come through. We are always welcome.
Right.
We always love to have you. Godfrey's the shit.
Yeah.
But then he's like, yo, I don't have to go to my other show no more.
Cause it's gone.
What the fuck happened?
They pulled the fucking plug.
What the fuck?
Enough of your black shit. Enough of your black intelligent shit.
What?
He's getting them together. The Negroes are starting to get educated. That's what's happening. We've got to stop it. We need to keep our tap dancing Negroes on our station. We don't need you. This son of a bitch is a rebellious slave. That's what he is. He's one of the slaves that told everybody how to escape. That's what the fuck yeah. That's what my show was, the Godfrey Complex. It was SiriusXM 126. It was Urban View.
Okay.
So it's Urban View, black political station. Black political station.
When I listen to Sirius Radio, it's mostly for music. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I didn't really turn into the talk stuff.
Right.
But yes, they have a channel. Well, fuck the channel now, but you was on one of those channels.
I was on it because I got on it because this lady Karen Hunter, who I'm not gonna. She's a wonderful woman. She really changed that channel. That channel was boring. It was a black channel, but it wasn't doing shit. So Karen, who's an author, she teaches journalism at Hunter College. She is fantastic. She's all about progressing black folk. So she started changing the channel, getting different people, fresh faces. And then I would do her show every once in a while. Then she got me on there. She goes, man, you ever have a radio show? I said, nah, I ain't never done that shit. I've done people shows. She goes, you should think about doing radio. You should think about it. So I said, you know what? Fuck it. Why not? They asked me. I didn't.
Right.
I said, oh, okay, fine. You can do an hour. Okay, I'll do an hour. It was the power hour because I had meth come through. I had Vivica. I had all kinds of people.
Nice.
Black businesses come through my shit.
Black businesses.
Black businesses.
We love you here.
Who I will definitely bring up black businesses here. That's what's good. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, cool. So I did it. It was called the Power Hour at 12 o'clock. And I hit the ground running like, bam. Because I came in like yelling and shit like, what's up, you motherfuckers? And because I know how that station was. It was like, you know those Al Sharptons and just that black caucus and the black folk, we need to come together as a community. That shit. So I said, I called instead of saying, it's like that. We have to understand that not every white person is bad. With a list. See, this is what you have to understand. I've been a pastor for many years. And white people, sometimes they good. Fuck out of here. Now, and this is not, don't misconstrue, this is not saying all white people are, see, I'm tired of, see, one other thing I didn't do is I didn't talk about the known already. I hate when motherfuckers do this, when black people do this shit, when they go, when you're talking about white folks, and I'm saying, yeah, policeman, these motherfuckers is killing, da-da-da, and they'll go, well, not all cops. Motherfucker, I know that. Stop being afraid of talking about the problem. That's that Negro shit that not all of them is bad. Well, if every cop was bad, we wouldn't even leave the house. Shut the fuck up. That's the known. Stop bringing that up. I'm talking about the shitty cops that fucking kill people, black people especially, that are slamming, teenage black girls, handcuffs, 14 years old, punching black children in the face, grown-ass punk bitch, pussy-fied white men that are fucking beating up our kids and shit like that. Those are the ones I'm talking about. Because we all know cops. I know white cops, cool cops. I know good policemen. A lot of my friends in Chicago, half my track team, they're all cops. All my whole, I was a relay guy. I was a 4x100 relay guy. All my whole team, they're all policemen. They're great cops. But there's a few that ain't shit. There's way more good cops than there are bad cops. That's a fact. You understand? I know that. I'm not saying, listen, there's some cops that let shit happen, but they don't necessarily do the action.
Right.
Because there's a code. But it makes you shitty. But there's cops that ain't like dickheads. There's some that aren't. Now listen. So I started talking about that shit, right? And so you have to understand, Urban View's demographic is like literally from 30 to like 80 years old. Old school black folk. So when I got on there, everybody's political. Al Sharpton's still on there. There's all this political shit. I got on there and I'm joking.
You was shaking the table.
And I was joking, and I would come in, and I said, I want to let you all know I'm a comedian. I'm not a fucking politician, but I'm a black dude in America. I got racist shit to talk about.
Right.
So I came in with hard shit, but then I came in with this thing called Black Facts. I had a Black Fact every day. Whether it was Black inventors, every single day. So by the time February came, people didn't even notice Black History Month because they was already on it. You know what I mean? We didn't wait for no fucking February, which you shouldn't get rid of course not, because if white folks got rid of it, we'd be fucked. But just to have that, but I had Black Facts, vocabulary words every single day because there's so many words. I said, since we're so stupid, let's build vocabulary. I had kids calling in going, my vocabulary is amazing. That Black kids, 5-year-olds repeating shit I was saying. I was shaking up the system. And then there were people going, yo, man, I had old Black people going, man, I'm 80 years old, and I'm gonna tell you, man, you all right with me. I ain't never heard you say you're refreshing. He goes, I was gonna cancel my subscription. He's like, but you bring life into us. I'm not even bullshit. Like, when I tell you the need for the show, because then they moved me. They said, you need, and everybody would call say, you need another hour, man. Man, fuck that. You need another hour, dog. You need another hour. So I said, they came to me and said, do you want 2 hours? I said, yeah, 2 hours is cool. I don't want to do no 3-4 hours. I'll do 2. So they put me prime time. They got rid of another dude, put me prime time, 6 to 8 traffic time. Man, I fucking, what? That shit, I was blowing that shit up.
6 to 8, that's why you couldn't be here. Because you had to be over there at 6 o'clock.
And then I would bring up truck drivers. This is what I did one day. Because a lot of truck drivers listen to Sirius because they on the road. One day I just fucked around and said, yeehaw, this Black Lightning calling all you truck drivers out there. I just want to let you know I just got 2 black people on the there. I was doing some fucked up shit. These truck drivers all called. They said, hey, man, yo, man, you almost had me crash my truck, dog. He goes, you don't understand, but this is what I didn't know. When I did that, they said, you know, we talk on the CBs and shit. These are all Black truck drivers, men and women. It's like, but we don't fuck around with them too much. I said, why? He said, because the white truck drivers call us niggas over the airwaves. They call us nigga this, nigga that, but when we see them at the truck stop, they don't say nothing. They act like they are friends, but on the airwaves, they're going, fuck these niggas. I didn't know. So I opened up a whole thing of truck drivers. So they start calling me.
The whole truck of whoop ass.
Yep. And so I had truck drivers go, hey, God, man, what's good, man? They call me Big Al, dog. I'm 6'3", 200 something. The other day, I just punched one of these white motherfuckers in the face, man, talking that shit.
Just cause of you, man.
Like, you got me amped, dog. So now, when I walk into a motherfucking truck stop, I look at these motherfuckers, dog. We want to appreciate you. We want to appreciate you because nobody recognized the truck driver. I was the only one. So I do a dedication to truck drivers every day. And I said, all you truckers out there, African-American truck drivers busting your ass, I give them. I had a lady, 60-some-year-old Black women truck drivers. I've been driving trucks for 30 years. You don't understand, no one ever gives us credit. I'm talking about on that station. They never recognize the truck drivers.
What happened?
Listen, I don't listen. Like I said,
this sounds great. This show sounds sweet. I'm like, I want to be a part of this. Why the fuck? Listen, would they get rid of such a great show with such a great host?
One day I did an episode about swimming.
I'll tell you why. I said, you tell me why you
just can't swim. I said, the world is 80% water, your body's 80%. How the fuck can't you swim? I'm sorry. But you be at pool parties every fucking time. You want to go to a pool party, you can't fucking swim. I said, learn. My father made us go swimming at 3-4 years old. My sister.
Swim, Godfrey.
You need to learn. That's fucking bullshit.
Yes, you do.
You need to learn how to swim.
Because you sit between
two swimmers. You need to look at it as, don't look at it as pleasure. Look at it as emergency. What if your fucking kid or someone's kid is drowning? You sitting there because you can't fucking save them. You're like, damn. Breathe.
Well,
shit.
Move
your arm.
I had my daughter swimming since she was a baby, though.
What?
I said I had my daughter swimming since she was a baby.
My
daughter's expert.
But see, that's what I'm saying. So I said, yo, you guys should learn to swim. This is not me coming from an arrogant point of view. Look at it as an emergency, like driving. Your mom can have a heart attack, whatever. You should learn those skills because there's a lot of road and there's a lot of water. That's what my father said. You know what I'm saying? Learn how to read, drive, and fucking swim. Learn. Goddamn. So these women
drive, fuck, and swim.
And do that too.
Okay.
And so, boom. I get these Black women calling me. They're like, Godfrey, man, I'm 57 years old. I've never, ever learned how to swim. We're taking swimming classes. Me and a bunch of women have decided to take swimming classes. Now we're learning how to swim because of your episode.
And now we're doing aqua ballet and all of that.
Fucking, and it was great, because I was like, I didn't know what kind of effect it would have. Then I talk about the health shit. I would bring up like this black water company called Alkaline Up out of Georgia. They make alkaline water. These motherfuckers have tested all the waters. All the waters we drinking are shit, just to let you know that. They have Alkaline Up is their crew. They send me bottles of water. They should be able to send. We're gonna pump them up, and we're gonna send them. They're gonna send them to you. They're gonna send them to you. It's a husband and wife. One of the husband was 300 pounds. That motherfucker is as big as him. You wouldn't even know he was fat. He goes, once I started losing weight, I started testing what I was drinking, and he goes, now we have a company where they have machines, they have shower picks for your water, iodine, reverse osmosis type shit. So I was pumping that up. I was pumping up black hair care product, black women owning hair care because the Koreans are disrespecting black people.
Yeah.
Black women are spending so much money on black products and it's not going into their fucking pockets. So we got 3 places.
So it sounds like you were doing all the things that we would love here at the Godcast, but you're doing it over there where you wasn't appreciated. Is that what you're telling me?
But hold up.
Is that what you're telling me?
But then they started complaining about shit. And I said, and I was like this. But I already knew. I was like, I know what kind of place this is because I know cats from my friends who've been fired from that shit. And they don't even know why. I said, I know where I'm at. You know, I've been to Sirius.
This is Sirius Radio.
Yeah, I know.
Where this was like 47th Street. You took this, that building.
That big building.
Right,
so I was pushing. But I was going to push the envelope anyway. I was going to talk a lot of shit because I would say I want to slap shit out Donald Trump. I always do like this. Man, they need to slap shit out that motherfucker. And I'd be like this. Yo, these cops, you punk bitch ass cops, I want to fucking slap shit out. I would keep going slap shit out of people. And then people would call and go, yeah, man, we need to slap the shit out of them. And then some people like, we can't advocate violence. I go, I'm bullshitting. I'm not going to do. So that was that. They was like, oh, you can't do this. I go, but you guys, it's free. Okay, and I was like, okay. So I was taking notes.
Right.
Then I said, let me start my podcast, which is In Godfrey We Trust on Gas Digital Network, which y'all I'm sure will be on at some point. Gas Digital Network. So I started that podcast. Then I started fucking with you, and I started fucking with Vlad. I said, let me find other shit because I know there's a point where they're gonna get tired of me. Like they're gonna just be crackers. Because I was mobilizing, man. Shit was dope, and I was killing all the other shows on our
I'm
channel.
Sure you were.
I was destroying the motherfuckers. And I had one girl.
At the end of the day is which they should really care about are the numbers.
Exactly. Right. But white folks would rather get rid of you if you're helping black people. They don't give a fuck how much money. They would rather see you fail instead of getting black people together. They'd rather see that than you make them money. You understand? They'd rather see black downfall. They'd rather see black, retrograde than actual progression. White folks, they will sacrifice all their money to see you go down. They don't want to see, even if you're making the money, they'll go, I just can't see black. I don't want you to be more educated.
They don't want the scholars.
It's in their DNA to keep us down. Like it really is in their DNA. Listen, I've gotten my motherfucking latte before somebody at Starbucks. They're like, I was here before you, bitch. They don't want to see it. No, in every aspect of our life. See, we gotta look at One thing you gotta understand is white microaggressions, not the big shit like get the niggas out of there. I'm talking about little shit. You walk in or maybe somebody in the grocery store helps you before a white person. Well, I was here before you, bitch. They don't think we should ever have anything first. They don't think we should get treated right. I've been in restaurants where the owners know me. And they come in what do you need? And other whites are like, well, who the fuck is he? Who the fuck is he? Just black dude gets in, all of a sudden the chef comes out. I'm telling you, they're like, I didn't know Negroes had some food. Well, Jesus, I'll never be eating steak in this place. For Christ, who is this black guy just walking in and the chef got that? They don't like it when we have anything. The only thing they want us for, sexually, athletically, economic, that's the only thing. White folks only want us when they're benefiting from it, when they're getting something out of it. If we are autonomously happy, that is their kryptonite. Like when you see black people like just laughing amongst each other, whites will be like, no, they're laughing over there.
Yeah, that's when Helen is coming with the gun. Like, who gave y'all?
When they see us,
permit for that.
When they see us by ourselves, autonomously doing our own thing, it angers them. They're mutants, man. White folks are mutants. They're mutated species. Listen, of course not all of you, but fuck that. You're mutated. You're a mutation. They just found out that they're 97% human. They're mostly Neanderthal. Yeah. It's real talk. Yeah. So it has to come from that because their behavior doesn't make sense. So if you think of it, if you say mutation, then you go, oh, a mutant. They're fucking weird. That's when they're mutated. So once you think mutation, you go, okay, I get it. See, once you're in the know, that's why when they pulled the plug, and I was in DC when they did that because I was talking about. Sorry. There was this dude. I was doing the show from the SiriusXM in DC last week, and so when there was a man that followed me into the lobby in DC, he said, "Yo, I'm a big fan, man. I'm a subscriber." I said, "Man, he's a subscriber. Let me give a picture." And this dude, who was a gay dude, black dude with braids, and he was real flamboyant. He was rude as fuck to this man. He said, nah, you gotta go. You cannot have no pictures. I said, well. I mean, the guy is a subscriber. He was so rude. So I went on one of the shows and said, this dude, I didn't name his name, and he was rude as fuck to a subscriber, which was wrong. And then I said, and the problem with the gay community is they try to use homophobia when they're just being assholes. I was like, you're just an asshole. But you try to use it like a homophobe shit. Gay community, some of the motherfuckers think they slick by throwing in homophobia and gay bashing. And I was like, I'm not gay bashing. I'm saying you're an asshole. But you want to use that gay shit. All of a sudden, you want to be part of the community. Now you want to be special interest when I'm calling you an asshole. You're a fucking dick. And it's like, no, you're gay bashing. And I had some black people say, you're gay bashing. I said, shut your tap dancing ass up. You fucking sellout ass nigga. Don't ever this black woman's like, I'm a feminist. Yeah, white women got you tricked too. Shut the fuck up. Don't ever talk. Don't talk to what you can't fucking deal with. Well, you're dealing with a different kind of intelligence, man. Sit your dumb Jehovah Witness ass up.
Godfrey, we're running out of time in this segment. We done ran out of time in this segment. But listen,
can we
listen?
Shut.
You know.
Well, I just wanted
what time it is about being right here.
A little teeny story about this one time when I was at boarding school. I went to a predominantly white school.
She's very private school.
And all of the black girls, all like 6 of us, sat at one table, and then all the rest of the white girls sat at all the rest of the tables, and we just naturally gravitated to to each other. Within 1 week, they had us all separated. They had like they had like one black, one here, one black, one in this It just made me, because it was assigned seating. Yeah. Well, all of a sudden it became assigned seating.
Blacks joining together.
It just made me when you said when they just see us.
When they see us, it's like a threat to them. We're just going.
Well, listen, we're gonna go to break. We're gonna come back.
Can I come back?
Come on, you here, man?
Yeah.
We need you here.
I can do it. I can do it.
But listen, we got a Power Pack show.
Fuck you, selling ass bitches.
We got another guest. That's right. Let them know.
Suck it right here.
I thought I had the brace for impact.
My balls in your mouth.
Shit.
We got hip hop royalty coming up next.
We do.
So y'all just hang on, stay tight. Yanadameen Godcast. We'll be back.
You fucking suck.
All right. Peace. Welcome back to the Yanadameen Godcast. I'm Lord Jamar.
I'm Digga.
In the house, we have 2 special guests this week. Our returning special
he's a friend of the show
host. Well, he's like a guest host. God damn it. He's like almost
more of it.
Yeah. He's almost infused. Yes, we will explain later. But to his left, to my right, we have hip hop royalty in the house right now. If you don't know, you better fucking recognize today. Okay? Now, you might not know just from looking at her because she looks like timeless right now. You look timeless. You look like you, I'm not going to even ask you your age because I know that's impolite, but god damn it, you look fabulous.
Thank you, sir.
Fabulous.
Right. That's right.
If y'all don't know who this is, with no further ado, this is Sha Rock, y'all. Sha Rock.
Give it up.
Sha Rock.
Yeah, that's your camera. Sha Rock.
Yes.
Funky 4 plus 1 more. This was the one more that made it special?
But do you want me to start off with that though? I know you're doing an introduction, but I got to tell them how I got to be the first woman.
We're gonna get into all of that. I want to start it. I would start it from when you came out your mama, but we press for time.
All right.
So I will start it from. I know you came from North Carolina, right?
Yes, sir.
What part of North Carolina?
I came from Wilmington, North Carolina.
Wilmington, North Carolina.
Where Michael Jordan went to school at.
Michael Jordan went to school.
Yes.
What was that? High school?
Yes, he did. Graduated from high school.
Oh, before
I was gone.
Chapel Hill.
Absolutely.
Okay.
High school.
No, University of North Carolina.
Well, he graduated from Wilmington, North Carolina in high school.
Oh wow, look at that. Born in Brooklyn, Jordan.
Yep.
So, Sha Rock, you're born in Wilmington, North Carolina, and how did you end up coming up to New York City in the height of what was the birth, basically, of hip hop? Like, how did you end up here, and where did you, what borough did you land in, and all of that once you got?
Well, let's go back. We're talking, I was 8 years old when I migrated from Wilmington, North Carolina to New York. What happened was there were a lot of racial tension in North Carolina at that time. My parents were following the Black Panthers. And, they were fighting for the street signs and African-American rights and all of that stuff. And then one day someone got shot in the apartments that I was living in North Carolina. Parents say, we got to go. Come to find out about a couple of months later, the Wilmington 10, which was Ben Chavis, Angela Davis, and a whole bunch of other people were arrested in North Carolina and was sent to prison for a long time. And so it was like a whole different vibe that was going on with racial tension. And this is one reason why we moved to New York from North Carolina, because my mom said, I got to get my kids out of North Carolina at that point. So that's how I wind up to North Carolina and moving from North Carolina to New York. So where I landed was in the Bronx. No, I landed in Harlem first. Stayed with my uncle for a period of time, like on 116th Street. Then we moved to the
Wow, 116th used to be popping back then too.
Back then. And so we're talking about 69, 70, like that. From my uncle's house, because it was a crowded area, he lived in a one-bedroom house. We moved to 167 in Webster Avenue.
Wow.
Yes. Stayed back there for about a year or so. Then I moved to 147th Street, 7th and 8th in Harlem. Stayed there for 2 years and boom, 73, 74, I moved back to the Bronx. Now my mom was a nomadic mover. She used to move all over, anywhere, whatever, where she thought that was the best place for her kids. Back around about 74, 75, I moved back to 165th in Washington Avenue. So that was when I was in middle school, and I began to start getting into the music. And in 76, I became a B girl. So before I became an MC, I became a B girl.
Now, explain to those who don't know exactly what is a B girl, and at the time, what was the music that was pulling you in? Like, it wasn't necessarily hip hop, because it didn't necessarily exist. So what is a B girl? And just tell me how you got pulled in. You can hold the mic.
Well, a B girl is a breakdancer. Back in the days, we used to call it burning. If you listen to like the Ohio players, Skin Tight and all of that, type of music. So for everybody that understand hip hop, don't get it twisted. Some of the songs that, really made hip hop what it was were the disco songs. So, they would play the beat, turn the beat around, different songs like that. You would listen to, just different artists at that time that would have songs, but they would play the songs in the park, like on 169th Street and Washington Avenue, which was called the 9 in the Bronx project area. You'll go out there and just listen to music and, start performing. And what I mean by performing is that, you would break dance, to be a crowd of guys, and I was just interested in break dancing. my household, my mother and father were connoisseurs of music. So I was brought up on people like Nikki Giovanni, Aretha Franklin. I was a fan of Elvis Presley. I'm sorry, I was.
Me too.
I was. No, for real. Because the reason, and I used to fight with my brothers and sisters just to watch him on TV, along with James Brown and along with Michael Jackson, because they were entertainers. You understand what I'm saying? And they knew how to mesmerize the crowd and have that control over the crowd, and they were good at their craft. So 1976, I became a B-girl. Breakdancing, going around.
That was the bicentennial.
Right. For me it was, because I was a nomadic B-girl. So I used to travel, from street to street. Wherever there was music, wherever there was somebody that was playing music in the park, I used to travel from the North Bronx to the South Bronx to the West Bronx to the East Bronx, just to hear that B-boy music and just breakdance. Then in 1977, that was the year that a few MCs came on to help create the culture of hip-hop. 1977 is that magic year.
Tell us about
It's the magic year. I'm going to tell you why. Because it was only a select few of MCs that was out there. If you was a B-girl or B-boy, you automatically migrated to an MC. But you had to be that B-girl or that B-boy that people knew. The people that was on the streets at that time that was holding the Bronx down was the Melly Mells, the Cowboys, the Kid Creoles, the Sha Rock, the Busy Bee, and some of the Funky Four. These were the people that was holding the Bronx down.
So hang on. So you're saying that all those people you just mentioned, including yourself, were B-boys and B-girls prior to getting on the mic.
Yes, sir.
So they would go into these parties and dancing and all that, and they were known for that.
Park jams and Kool Herc's parties were known for that before they migrated. To getting on the mic. Exactly.
And so basically that was almost your rite of passage, what you're saying.
Exactly.
So to qualify you to even be able to get on the mic, you had to be something in this other realm in order to get to this realm.
Exactly. And I'll say that, back then you don't look at it like that, but that's how it was in the Bronx. And so, in order for you to be that person, you transform over. So now you had your DJ, you had your B-boy, you had your B-girl, and then was the MC. And so it was only a select few that were a part of being that MC. 77 is the magic year of when the culture of hip-hop culture start coming together. Because you will hear people say, okay, so hip-hop started in 1971 and 1973 and in 1974. Don't believe that, because all the elements of the culture was really not put together and was not celebrated. Because even though you had like disco music, and you're going to hear people tell you different, but people that were there, if you had disco music, they were playing disco. Even though we were rhyming to disco music, we weren't allowed to come into the disco area to celebrate or become that B-girl and B-boy. And they were not cutting, and they were not slicing up the music, and they were not doing rhyming like the styles that we may do. When you do a rhyme, you had no bars. You would go. See, there was no such things as 16 bars. You would go until your whoever you was rhyming with know when your rhyme ended. You would continuously go. There was no set limit of when you would stop. So the rhyming format of the disco era was different than the hip hop era. That's why it was different. If you had your disco DJs, we used the music. That's what made hip hop synonymous, because of the music, the good times, the Cheryl Lynn's that we were using from disco. But the elements and the format of how hip-hop was formed was in 77 on to 78.
Y'all making 15-minute rap songs.
Exactly. But you wasn't doing that in disco. You may say something, and not to take from anybody that was doing that, it's just that we're talking hip-hop. We're talking all the elements that made hip-hop what it is. The DJ, the slicing, the cutting, the mixing. The disco era didn't do that. They just played the songs. They didn't play the break beats. They didn't play the break beats that was synonymous to what made hip hop what it is. Yes, we use the songs like Good Times, the Cheryl Lynn beats, because that was 1979. When even though in 1979, who was it? The Sugar Hill Gang made the first recognized rap record, but it was a song that us in the streets were already using in the parks. Right. It's just that Sylvia Robinson, Sugar Hill saw a way to capitalize off of it, and it's okay. But that's how the Sugar Hill Gang had the best record in the world, because now what you do is that you open it up to everybody around the world, and it wasn't just contained in New York City. Right. Because we were rhyming and rapping and emceeing in all boroughs at that time.
What about 19, because I met Grandmaster Melly Mel on a VH1 thing. They signed a shirt. I met Herc, but they said 73 Sedgwick and blah 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 is where the hip hop started.
Because the story is that in 1973, Kool Herc gave his first party on Sedgwick Avenue. It was inside of the center at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue, and he moved it to Cedar Park. I can't speak on that because I wasn't there. My era comes in 1976. But I do give him respect because I know that as a young teenager, I followed Kool Herc. Right. I know what he did. I know what he did for the culture. I know the music that he played to make me want to be that B-girl and to travel around and continue for whoever. If he wasn't playing, I travel just to hear those break beats.
Now, real quick, could you tell me some other DJs that might be lesser known DJs that you would travel to, you understand, as a B-girl or an MC to like some of their parties, you know what I mean?
Well, my DJ Breakout and DJ Baron. But let me tell you, let me tell you the history about this, because when they do the Four Fathers, they only say Theodore, Grand Wizard Theodore, creator of the scratch. They only say Grandmaster Flash, and then they say Bambaataa, and they say Kool Herc. Yeah. But what the world don't know is that every one of the peoples of the DJs that I mentioned, let's take Bambaataa, DJ Breakout and DJ Baron had the whole uptown in the Bronx. So anywhere from the 200s on up to the beginning of Mount Vernon, my DJs, DJ Breakout, had it on lockdown. Had it on lockdown from the valley on up. Even though it's DJs in the valley, we had it on lockdown. I lived downtown, right? DJ Breakout and Baron, DJ Breakout lived uptown. Baron lived on the west side, and the rest of the Funky Four lived on the east side. So even though, DJ Breakout lived uptown, I went to school uptown. But we had uptown on lockdown and also Flash area on lockdown, which was downtown. So because we had that huge following, Grandmaster Flash's manager, Ray Chandler, asked us to come together and form an alliance to be able to bring our people from uptown to be able to party with Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five downtown. Bambaataa was located in Bronx River. Nobody would go into Bronx River. You couldn't go into Bronx River unless you had a pass. Bambaataa asked DJ Breakout and DJ Baron to form an alliance to bring our people from uptown into Bronx River to the crowds and form an alliance there. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Kool Herc. Kool Herc was on the west side. But we were dominating the Funky Four, and I was an original Funky Four member, and we'll get to that. We're dominating every era or area of New York City, including downtown, Smith's Apartments, Harlem, Staten Island, Long Island, Nyack. We were all over. So when they mentioned I'm saying you listen. If anybody listening right now, they'll tell you we were all in Staten Island, Long Island. We used to take the ferries over there, all of that. Everybody that came out of Long Island and Staten Island would tell you that. And so when they say, you ask me who was the other DJs, Breakout and Baron, my DJs don't get enough credit because we had a lot of people come out of our camp. People like 45 King. 45 King was my record boy. He used to pass it. Right. Wow. Right. But 45 King, right, I'm telling you the history. 45 King was my record boy who used to pass the records to DJ Breakout and DJ Baron for me and the rest of the Funky Four to rhyme. You understand what I'm saying?
Wow.
So it's a lot of people that came out of our camp that went on to help people like Queen Latifah and the Hits, much respect to her, and Jay-Z with Hard Knock Life. You know, they came out of the Funky Four camp.
So when do you start rhyming? When do you form, you know, the Funky Four? And I know you said there's a story about the plus one, because we know you as the plus one, but you saying you're part of the original Funky Four, so somebody else is the plus one.
No. I'm gonna school you.
But also, I want to know about that, but then I also want to know, which I'm sure Digga would like to know, is what challenges did you face as a girl, you know, coming up in a sport? I mean, I know there was a lot of girls around, but it didn't seem like there was a lot of girls who was actually on the mic. Because you the first female voice I ever heard on the mic. Later I heard like Sequence and stuff like, but you're the first one I ever heard. So let's get into that.
Okay, let's get into it. So much respect to Rah Digga. You know, that's my girl. I love her. Very prolific MC. But when you talk about how did I start it, in 1977, I became the first female MC of hip hop culture. To your audience, not only am I the first female MC, but I am also a founding member of hip hop culture. I'm also a founding member. Right. I'm a founding member. I'm a founding member of the Funky Four. So let's go back.
Say it with your chest.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So even though you hear about the plus one more, in 1977, the beginning of 78, I helped create the Funky Four. It was KK Rockwell first, and then it was Keith Keith. I was the third member. Now, even though I was the third member, we still had members moving in and out. You know, we had members in the community that, you know, like my daughter's father, you know, he was, you know, he would get on the mic. You know, that would be another girl like Mutti, she would get on the mic. But we formed the Funky Four when Raheem came. So even though I was on the mic, we weren't in the Funky Four yet. When Raheem came from the Furious Five,
I was gonna say Raheem from the
Furious Five, we were the original Funky Four. We were the original Funky Four. Now, the story is, and I didn't know this, is that Raheem at some point wanted to go over to the Furious Five, but they weren't yet the Furious Five yet. It was just three of them, you know, and Ness, which is Scorpio, really hadn't got there yet. But they were trying, right, and they were brothers. They were trying to get Raheem to come over because Raheem, he was like a dope MC, but he was also like the first person that would harmonize, you know, on songs. So that was our weapon towards the Furious Four at the time, because we used to battle 24/7 in New York. It was always the Furious Four and the Funky Four battling. That's what we did. The Cold Crush wasn't even out yet. Okay, these was the two main groups in New York City that held New York City down and that was always battling. The Furious Five wanted Raheem. We had a battle one time in the Audubon Ballroom. Whatever happened after that, Raheem was told to leave. I found this out years and years ago. No, for real. I found this out years and years ago, and I was very upset with the other two guys because they didn't inform me as to what was going on. And so when it was all said, you know, when Raheem left, because we were really tight, brothers and sisters tight, I left. And when I left, Raheem went over to the Furious Four. They became the Furious Five. The manager, Jazzy D, asked me to come back. They had two new members, but those two new members, Jazzy Jeff and Rodney C, didn't know that he asked me to come back. So when he asked me to come back, they were furious because they were the newly formed Funky Four. But Jazzy D wanted me to come back. I came back, and that's when I became the plus one. And so within 2 months that I came back, we had our first record deal, the first authentic. So when you ask me, yes, I heard about Sequence and I heard about other people. We're talking two different things. You're talking authenticity of hip hop in the Bronx, on the street of New York City, in them park jams, in them schoolyards, in them centers. There's a difference. You're talking 1979 when records were made. I'm talking cassette tapes before 1979. That's the difference.
Straight.
And I bear witness to that because I never heard no sequence on no damn tapes back in the days.
They're from South Carolina.
Well, there you go. And it just seemed like one day they was on a rap record, and at that time, not to cut you off, but at that time, we would take almost anything. Like I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't happy with the Sugar Hill style of replaying samples. Like as a fan of the tapes, once the records started coming out, I didn't understand why they didn't cut up the records that I'm hearing on the tapes. I don't know about publishing and mechanical royalties and all that at the time. I'm just thinking, how come it don't sound like the tapes?
Because she didn't understand what was going on in the streets. She heard people rapping, and I'm talking about Sylvia Robinson.
Right.
She heard people rapping at the clubs. She heard people rapping at the clubs to good times. She wasn't in those streets to see what was going on in the streets. So she never got that part of what was going on in the streets. When she heard, whoever she did at Hollandwell rapping, then she had a metaphor. Listen, I could do this. I could put this on the record. So she never got that part. There's
a great documentary called I Want My Name Back, documentary about the Sugar Hill Gang and Sylvia Robinson, how she literally took them and shit on them. You gotta see, it's called I Want My Name Back. It's the history of the Sugar Hill Gang. It is fantastic.
But I'm gonna go even deep. I'm filming a movie, so I'll let y'all know exactly what's going on. Huh?
Nice. We're definitely gonna get into that. I can't let you go. We're gonna actually we're gonna bring you into the next segment. What I want to say. You're saying that she didn't know about the streets, but on the flip side, I feel like y'all didn't know about the business side at the time. So she's looking at it as, I can't use those records because I'm going to have to pay some sort of royalty to the people that if I was going to even try to, you know what I mean? So she didn't want to, I'll go get some musicians to come in and replay that shit. So she didn't care about the street side of it. You understand what I'm saying? She just was trying to figure out the best way to make money.
Of course.
And I get it. As a business person. But yeah, we're going to get back. When we come back, we're going to talk about, the Funky 4+1, came in, y'all make a record, boom, that's the joint, Saturday Night Live. We're going to talk about all of that when we get back. Yanadameen Godcast, Sha Rock in the motherfucking house. Yeah. Welcome back to Yanadameen Godcast. I'm Lord Jamar.
I'm Digga.
We got my man Godfrey in the motherfucking house.
Good.
And we got the Queen Sha Rock in the house. Original hip hop founding member. Come on.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Original hip hop founding member.
Right.
Yes.
That's the truth.
Listen, before we continue, if you'd like to donate to the show, go to cash.me/$Yanadameen, patreon.com/
Yanadameen,
bounty.com/
Yanadameen,
and
Yanadameen.com/
support.
Yeah.
You guys send it so they can see it? Guys?
Oh yeah.
Come on.
Oh,
we got
I don't know. Okay, people be like, what was that again? Yanadameen got money. I'm just making sure. You make sure that you get the money. I want you guys to get paid.
Listen,
you fat, Freddie Funk ass, you piece of shit, fat, fried Freddie ass.
Our guest here set a precedent by donating to the show. Sha Rock just donated to the show so we can have labs for everybody. Fucking clap it up.
Wow.
So guess what? That means that y'all need to donate too, because this is what we're supposed to do as a family in hip hop.
Right.
We ain't supposed to hate on nobody. We're supposed to take care of each other. That's how we rise up.
Yeah.
That's how we rise up.
This might be the first time in history that guys have donated.
Yeah,
You
like,
donated,
seriously.
You donated?
Yeah, to get some mics and all that old stuff.
That's great.
No, but
Like,
that's what we're supposed to do, right? We're supposed to look out for each
to
other.
move forward.
right.
That's
We're
what's
supposed
up.
to look out for each
Wait,
other.
now should we be feeling like shit? The guests that came up here like, I can't with the sound.
No, it wasn't that. Look, Digga, that was before the sound. No, Digga, that was before the sound.
Yo, over here with
That
your
was
crutch.
before the sound because I mean we supposed to look
So
out for each
you
other.
need mics, then more mics too?
That's what's up.
Huh?
You need more mics too and all that other stuff?
Yeah, we building, bro. We
I'm
building
just
from the
asking because I
ground
might
up.
have some extra
We
stuff
grind,
too. Some
son,
extra
we
stuff that I haven't
Nah,
used
they
in a
don't
minute.
want nothing that you digging up from the basement.
No, it's brand new. It's brand new.
Oh, okay,
No, it's
okay.
brand new stuff
Okay.
though.
Yeah,
This is
okay.
brand new
All right,
shit.
good.
It's not
They
like
want
some
new
like.
stuff.
Listen, we all about doing for self. See, when you do it like this, when your people support your other people, that's when you don't have to worry about, because we're gonna talk about. Well, we did. I guess we talked about in the first segment. You know why you have time to be here.
Why I have time? Oh yeah, you see, I'm not rushing off.
Because you gotta do for self.
I gotta do for self.
And that's when you don't have to worry about motherfuckers telling you, "Oh, we don't need you anymore," and all this type of shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why we here doing for self. Anyway, so we thank you and we praise you.
Yes, thank you.
No
Thank
problem.
you,
It's
Sha
nothing.
Rock.
It's nothing.
For putting your money where your mouth is.
And we all need to do that to look out for each other. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because
Yes, we do.
my thing is, a lot of people out there doing podcasts, right? You know, they do that. But if you secure in your craft and you got a good product, you shouldn't hate on the next man.
No.
You should always make sure you try to uplift women, sisters, brothers, anybody to look out. Because your blessings may not come when you want it to come, but it's going to come when you give and you don't worry about getting it back. So everybody should be supporting and helping out each other. So read that again. Read that again so you can get that money.
Wise words to live by.
real,
So
man.
yes, if you'd like to donate to the show, go to cash.me/$ you know what I mean, patreon.com/you know what I
And you
mean,
sleep better at night.
bounty.com/you know what I mean, or you know what I mean.com/support.
You sleep better at night.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have some questions for you, sis.
Yes, ma'am.
And I hate using the word femc. As an MC that happens to be a female from another one, how was it, especially in your time with like no other females were really stepping up to the plate like that? Was there any like intimidation factor? Like were you scared? Were you the big reveal, or was it just like, what? I'll chew these niggas up too?
It wasn't, you know, and all of the questions, the answers that you say, Rah, is like on point. You have to remember, I came up through the inception of hip hop, which meaning that they didn't look at me as a woman. Because if I was a female, plus. If I look good, that was a plus. But I was just prolific as any other male MC that was out there. So I had to be able to hold my own, because we're talking about the inception. As opposed to what, let's say now, people that have hit records or have records on the radio, they have it good because they got social media. They got the internet to push them forward. I was out there with little or no resources, which meaning that I had flyers, word of mouth. So when they came to your park, so they came to the park jams, they came to you, you had to be able to deliver your MCing skills so they can be able to come back to you. So I didn't have to deal with most females like yourself being a prolific MC have to deal with, because I came up in the era where your skills was what made you who you were and took you to that next level. And so sometimes I look and I see, especially for people like you, a light, not to take anything from anybody else, but it's like, why do the world has to just have one female MC? They're out there. I mean, just ready to just go off. But I didn't have to deal with that. I didn't have to deal with the misogyny. I didn't have to deal with reveal. Now,
and what was it about you that made that possible? Like, why wasn't they like, yo, get out of here, shorty? Like, you know what I mean? Like, this the dude's doing this. Like it had to be something. First of all,
I helped created this culture. So how you going to tell me to go when I was there on that front line? I was on the front line. I was there carrying the crate. I paid my dues. I helped created the culture. I was on the front line. So you can't tell me to go any place when I helped created the culture. I'm there. So now you have to accept me as that prolific MC that I was, especially during my time. So when you listen to people like DMC say, I am the one to help inspire him and Run to do Tougher Than Leather album. That I inspired them, when I was on the echo chamber, to make sure that whenever they, said their rhymes, he told Jam Master Jay, I want you to make me sound like Sha Rock on them cassette tapes. You understand what I'm saying? Or when you hear a person like Puffy say, and when I heard Sha Rock voice, I never met her, but her voice was mesmerizing, like my homegirl Rah Digga over here. When you hear people like the Beastie Boys say, if it wasn't for Sha Rock, there would be no female MCs. Or who inspired you? Sha Rock from the Funky Four. Or when you hear somebody like Lord Jamar say, well, who's the top 5, MCs that should be in the Hall of Fame?
Right, they just put up a post and we'll put that post up.
And he said, and I'm shocked because I didn't even know you felt that way. But I'm honored.
They said, if we created a hip hop Hall of Fame, who would be your first 5 to put in automatically? I said, Melly Mel, Kumo D, Grandmaster Caz, Spoonie G, and Sha Rock. And that was before I even knew that she was going to be here today.
But see,
I
and
put
this
that
is why
up.
I
That's how
respect
the universe works.
Wow. I respect her, and Light is no joke. Light has always been the one, the one who. Light is another person that said, when I was 11 years old and I lived in Brooklyn, I used to come up to Harlem. And when I came up to Harlem, I heard Sha Rock on a cassette tape, and I heard Mo D. And I said, I can do that. So when you have people like her and Fat Joe will say Sha Rock was better than the 99% of the guys that's out there. He just said this a couple of weeks ago. Now for me, it's a gift and a curse. Because now it's like, yeah, she's good, but let me just sweep her under the rug. Because now I have to deal with men. I never dealt with that type of problem back then. But when you say stuff like that, even if it's true, and I'm thankful, now why am I not being acknowledged? You understand what I'm saying?
Well, part of it is probably because you didn't make the establishment money. You see, like you're only important to these people if you make the establishment, these corporations. You came in before that. You came in before.
You were boots on the ground.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
you were the vanguard, is what they're called.
Yeah, it's okay. But if that's what it is to say, that you're a legend and or to say that you're an icon, then keep the money. You understand what I'm saying? Because if I have to sell my soul just because, you said I got to sell a lot of records and I got to do, I sold a lot of records, but I didn't get the money for the records I sold. You understand what I'm saying? I sold a lot of records. Y'all don't know about it, but I didn't get the money for the records I sold. And you're talking the 70s, the early 80s. I'm going through a dispute with Sugar Hill Records, fighting
to this day. They robbed so many people.
They
robbed people that were not even on Sugar Hill Records.
Whatever y'all don't
Seriously.
know, I don't have a gag order.
They was going around stealing people's publishing.
I don't have a gag order. And this is the truth. When I was in Germany, my husband was in the military. When I was in Germany, there was a box record set that was sold for $100. Everybody that was a part of Sugar Hill Records had their song on there. I wrote about this in my book, and back in 2010. The thing is that when I got back to the States and when I'm over in Germany and my child say, well, Mom, could you get me, buy me this doll or something like that to that effect, since you have this money from this record. When I got back to the States, I seeked out lawyers. I went to every person that was under Sugar Hill Records to go in with me to file a class action lawsuit. The Sequence didn't want to go in with me. Nobody wanted to go in with me. The only person that went in with me was the Furious Five, because I went to every member in Sugar Hill Records and said, I want you to join me in this class action lawsuit. Now, I did the research. Nobody in New York City, no attorney wanted to mess with Sugar Hill Records. They said to me, Sha Rock, it's going to cost you all this money. I knew I couldn't deal with them for years and years and years in court. So I did the smart thing. BMI told me, look,
This is how they messing with your publishing, by changing the name of That's the Joint, writing it different ways, changing the names of the Funky Four to the Funky Four plus one more, and changing the reign. And these are the 7 or 8 different companies that your money is going into. I got a lawyer. Go to this lawyer, and they're gonna take care of you. I went to a lawyer that handled people like Chubby Checker, Jewish lawyers downtown. And guess what? They said to me, Sha Rock, we will take on your case, but you're going to have to give us half of whatever we get. Now, I know I can't deal with them in money in court. So guess what? I gave them half of everything, because half was better than nothing. You understand what I'm saying? Right. And so I went back to the sequence.
Although it should have been a third.
Right. But it was okay, because I wouldn't get nothing. I did like 9 songs on that label. But they were selling overseas like crazy.
Right.
I didn't get paid a dime from records. So anyway, they filed a lawsuit. Went back to, the people in Sugar Hill. The only one I asked Raheem to go and get the Furious 5. They signed on. Sugar Hill Gang didn't want to sign on. Sequence didn't want to sign on. Crash Crew signed on later. Okay, so now we in court for years. This started in 2011. The judge deemed that they were at fault. So the father had to pay. He passed away. The mother had to pay. She passed away. The son had to pay. He passed away. Another son passed away, and there's one more son left. So I don't have a gag order. This really happened. It's court record. It's documented. My lawyers has the canceled checks of payment. I'm still in court to the day for the remaining amount of my money for the last couple of years that I have not got. And that's the truth. So don't let nobody tell y'all anything different, because it's documented in the court of law in New York City. It's true.
Wow. Crazy.
Wow.
First-hand account.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So let me ask you, sis.
It's true.
So now you're established. You've got all your, all of your credibility streetwise. Like everybody knows, like you are like this chick. Now,
And then they come out with a hit record.
Huh?
And then they come out with a hit record.
No, well, we were under, because That's the Joint wasn't our first record. We were under Enjoy Records, which was the first label, like the first really like rap radio.
Yes, Enjoy, man.
Right,
Nobody
right.
talks about Enjoy.
Which we had, but that was like, Enjoy was the label that had all the prolific MCs that was on the street.
Where was Enjoy located
Like
at?
125th, 7th, 11th Avenue or something
It's
like
in
that.
Harlem.
Yeah, in Harlem, we recorded our song out of the record store in the back.
Right.
Who created Enjoy?
Bobby Robinson, which is no affiliation to Sylvia Robinson.
Oh wow, another Robinson.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Robin, mother.
I wanted to say, how was it when like the next wave of females started coming, like Shanté and
Okay. So
what space were you in, like when that next wave
the
of girls
space,
started
okay,
coming?
so almost a decade I had been out before Roxanne Shanté, and when Roxanne Shanté came out, she set New York on fire. But during that time, I was going in dispute, trying to get off the record label. So I was still with the Funky Four, right? But also created the Us Girls to do the movie Beat Street.
Sha Rock is the woman with the magical touch. I'm like burning fire. I'm just too much. I want to treat you like a king in the heat of the night.
Us girls.
Right, to do the music. So I was still with Sugar Hill Records at that time.
Wow.
And so in order for me to do the movie Beat Street, those two, Lisa and Debbie, they didn't have a record deal. I had a record deal. I had to go to Harry Belafonte and say, look, these two girls, they're not signed to a record deal. I'm signed to Sugar Hill. Say, okay, well, I said, I don't think she's going to let me do it because we're going through a dispute right now. And the only way for me to do this is to, you have to go to her and ask her. So he said, okay. So he called her. So he said, look, Sha Rock is down here in my office. She wants to be a part of the movie Beat Street. What do we have to do to get her to be a part? And for what he tells me, she said, okay, she could be a part of it, but you have to let Melly Mel do the hook for Beat Street, and that's how they were able to get into Beat Street through him going through Sugar Hill Records and Sylvia Robinson for me.
I remember that, but I remember that scene. Us girls can boogie too.
Right. But I was still so when you say what was going on at that time, I was Shanté was out, she was coming out, but I didn't want to record because why do I need to record when I'm not getting paid for it? So I'm trying to fight in court and trying to get away from her completely. And Keith, his uncle was a lawyer, but he didn't really come through with the actual fighting until it was almost like a decade later that I found the lawyers that will fight and go to distance and knew what they had to do to get the job done.
But what was the record y'all did on Enjoy?
It was called Rappin' and Rockin' the House, which was the
come on,
which was the longest rap record ever.
That was
longer
my
than 16,
shit.
Right. That was the longest rap record ever. 16 minutes until somebody beat the record. So we made the first the longest recorded rap record.
We loved our records long like that because you never wanted that shit to end. Like they used to be too short because we didn't get the hip hop like that.
Exactly. So when you talk about that beat with Sherilyn, go back to the disco era of the songs. We all used the songs that were synonymous to disco to make hip hop beats, and hip hop made it more popular. They were selling more than what they were selling in their own records. Because it made it more street too, though. Because disco was, Exactly.
Let's keep it real.
Exactly.
Disco's a little wrist bending and
fun songs, though.
It is. It was love.
But Saturday Night Live, and you had the white boys that was into disco too. And,
but they do all that twirling.
And then you had the gay guys that was into the shit.
Because I'm gonna tell you something. One of the commentators that I was speaking to, and I was doing an interview, and he was like, "Well, back in the days, did you find that it was a racist thing? How did they feel about rap music?" And I said, "Well, when I was coming up, we were playing down in the hole in the walls in Soho, the kitchen, or the Ritz clubs or whatever. They respected hip hop so much because it was like punk rock, hip hop." Joining together, and they were like
these were
subcultures, and but came together, and they would be on stage or they'll be in the crowds, and they would just be throwing each other up in the air and like that loved.
And this is how we got Planet Rock.
Exactly.
Like that sound is the culmination of what you're talking about.
So
these dudes mixed. Going downtown.
Exactly, and mix. And let me tell you, a different genre of people enjoy hip hop records and or hip hop music, and this is what the Funky Four did. We brought that downtown.
So tell us what you have going on right now. I know recently you were given an award, but also you have a movie coming out because I know Roxanne Shanté had a movie recently.
Much respect to her.
And we had her on the show. She's a friend to the show.
Okay.
But Sha Rock, I could only imagine what the Sha Rock story is going to be like. So tell us a little bit about what you have going on right now, and especially the film that you have coming.
Yeah. So basically, I'm in New York. I live in Texas. New York, I love New York to the fullest. And this is why I'm filming my movie, Luminary Icon. That was the name of my book, and Luminary, not Illuminati, Luminary Icon, the light. So I'm doing it, and I'm in New York, simply, because a couple of weeks ago I did casting, and I was sort of kind of, waiting to find the perfect person to play, Sha Rock. But now, I had my investors from overseas. Look, we need to do this. Let's get it. Let's make it happen. Whatever it costs to take. Let's get this movie popping. And so I enlisted people like Dana Dane. Because I wanted to include, I didn't want to make this, yes, it's going to be about my journey from from North Carolina to New York, to how I became a founding member, first female MC of hip hop, and what I had to go through, on the streets of New York at that time. Because
there was some gangster shit going on at that time.
And them gangsters protected Sha Rock. They did. They did. And when you're young, you don't look at it like that. But that's what happened because of the respect. And so, I don't like to take anything from any female out there because we as females have contributed so much and we don't get our due diligence because we are MCs, Rah, you know, you out there. But I wanted to make sure that people understood, and even if they don't know, what I did for this culture, how I was on the front line, how I helped to move this culture forward. And even if you don't know me, and you may know 1 or 2 records, I helped this $1 billion business. And it wasn't just because of rap records or rapping, because that's only one element of hip hop. You understand what I'm saying? It's only one element. I celebrate all elements of hip hop. And so what I would like to do is let people know about my contributions and how I helped to create this $1 billion business. And by the same token, you know, Rah was telling me, you know, earlier, you know, she said, I saw you, you know, on this video, you know, crying, you know, and all that stuff, because they caught me off guard, because on June 1st, New York City and the Bronx deemed June 1st as emcee Sha Rock Day in the Bronx. So now I get to sell it. I think they did Nipsey Hussle's Day in Harlem. So we'll share the same day, and I don't mind sharing it with them, but I know in the Bronx every day, June 1st, is emcee Sha Rock Day.
That's beautiful.
And I was honored. So when they told me
clap
that.
it up for that.
So you're gonna come every year to New York?
Yeah. I'm in New York all the time because I'm retired.
So you have to show up.
No, I'm planning something. So I gotta have y'all out there.
Absolutely.
And what I was trying to say is that
I was born in the Bronx.
Yeah, right. So what I was trying to say, to me, it's not just about the Bronx. It's about Brooklyn. It's about Queens. It's about Manhattan. It's about Harlem, because I was in all of those places. So I brought in different people to help me with the movie, like Dana Dane. Dana Dane's from Brooklyn. He's one of my writers. I'm on the phone with him 24/7 because I want to let the world know, yeah, Bronx started it, but hip hop is about peace, unity, and having fun. And if I know somebody that's got the traits to make it happen, I don't care if they from Queens, from Brooklyn, whatever. We all supposed to come together and look out for each other. And this is what I did for my movie. Just brought in people from Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, the Bronx as consultants to make sure that we tell the true story of the culture in hip hop.
Our
and how
time
it
is
went
running
down.
out.
Right.
How can people contact you with your social media?
Yeah,
all
I
that?
just got back on social media, guys. My daughter set it up 3 years ago. I just got back on a month or so ago. So I am emcee Sha Rock on Instagram,
Twitter.
Yeah,
you on Twitter too?
I just got back in there.
What's Twitter?
Listen,
try to make them all the same, so you don't have to.
Spell Sha Rock.
Just look,
Google
Google Sha Rock,
yeah,
and y'all
he
will
told me
find
I got
her.
to get back on there.
Hey, social media is the
Yes,
best.
yes,
the best.
You know how she's here today? I
Social
slid in her
media.
DM.
Okay.
You slid into it?
I saw her in
And I was honored.
Feet first.
I saw her.
Slid into
I
it?
saw her crying, and I'm watching it, and it brought me to tears. I'm
Wow.
like,
Listen,
Wow.
we gotta run, but Sha Rock, thank you so much.
Much respect.
We love you.
Thank you, Rob.
Yo, once again for Yanadameen Godcast, I'm Lord Jamar. Godfrey! Hey!